Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fast and Fun Projects with Noreen. I am Noreen Smith. I'm the Product Development Creative Manager with Creative Memories, and I always am so excited for Wednesdays because that means that I get to hang out with you guys for, 30 or 40 minutes maybe, getting to do some fast and fun projects with you, just like the name suggests. So welcome. If we haven't hung out together before, you might not know that we broadcast live both into the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group and onto the Creative Memories YouTube channel. So I'm just kind of making sure that we're all set up here and waiting for a couple of comments, thumbs up, just to make sure everybody can see us and join in. And then we're going to get started. Yeah, we've got some Facebook users popping on there saying Happy Thanksgiving. That's a big thing that's happening, of course, this weekend or this week. I am in Canada, so we celebrated Thanksgiving way back in October. But I know that so many of you are getting ready for the big day tomorrow in the US celebrating Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you as well. There's some gals joining us from Brisbane, Australia, California, Tucson's here, Virginia, New Mexico. Oh, I'm so glad to see you all as well. Here's Marianne from Texas joining us on YouTube. Steph is here. Ellen's here. Glad to see so many familiar names. Thank you, thank you. Happy Turkey from Macon, Georgia. So happy Turkey Day to you too as well. BC's joining me. Ottawa's joining me. Trenton, Ontario's joining me. I'm glad to see some fellow Canadians. But it's wonderful that we all get to hang out together here for a little while. Oh, thank you. I am thankful for all of you guys as well. And I'm so thankful to be part of Creative Memories. It's just a joy and a pleasure to be with you and share these ideas. So we're going to get started. First of all, just a reminder, if you're watching in the Facebook Virtual Crop group, you're going to be able to see this replay anytime in the group. Some of you are watching on the YouTube channel. Just make sure that you also have, connected with the opposite group. So YouTubers, make sure you go and request to join the Facebook group. Facebook users, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring the bell so you always get the notifications when we go live or when we add a new video. So there's great things happening on both platforms. You want to make sure that you're part of it in both places. So lots and lots of gals joining us. I am so excited to be with you live today because, of course, last week I shared a pre-recorded video of all of the Black Friday promos because I was traveling. So I'm here live with you today. I get to see your comments as they all come up. If I miss a question or anything, I'll try to get back to it after the broadcast. But again, remember, if you come in and we're halfway through, you'll be able to watch right from the beginning as soon as we finish up. Okay? So one note about Black Friday, the bundles have been extended. So I know, again, for all of you who are thinking about, your Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping, you're going to be able to take advantage of the Black Friday promos until Tuesday, November 29th. So you still have a couple of days. That's great. Don't forget, though, to grab it while you can. I do know that a couple of the bundles, I think specifically Candy Cane and Gemtones, are beginning to run a little low. So if those are on your list, you'll want to grab them right away. And I do hope you enjoyed what we shared last week. I know that I've enjoyed all of the bundles, but like I said, I think that little crop and clutch was my favorite. I'm just reaching for it here. I brought it with me on the plane, and that little crop and clutch with the magnetic closure, and then you can just set your phone right here on this sort of textured rubberized base. It was a lifesaver for traveling, I tell you. I really enjoyed it. So anyways, let's get into today's video. And I want to just set the scene for you a little bit. I want you to think back to your elementary school days. And I want you to put up your hand or give me a thumbs up if you remember doing fun sort of, turkey themed and Thanksgiving themed and Christmas themed decorations, with construction paper and just so much fun that you brought them home and you put them on the fridge for your whole family to see. It was like your Thanksgiving decoration, Thanksgiving artwork. It was just a fun thing. You might have, made a handprint and made that into a turkey, or you might have made chains, or all kinds of different things. Well, we're going to kind of channel our inner kids, and we're going to do some crafty things, but we're going to focus on holiday memory keeping, getting the family involved, and then using something for both decor and as a page that we can put into our scrapbooks later. So let me just switch you over here onto my table, and we've got Turkey Lurkey here. I'm so excited about this funny little turkey because, like I said, not only is he going to be a really cute little, decor piece for maybe your fridge, or maybe you have a frame where you share, recent scrapbook projects. But it's also going to go into your scrapbook as a memory from, this Thanksgiving or other Thanksgivings. But it's also going to be an interactive or a type of activity for your family. So when I was thinking about, the turkeys, I thought, of course, we've got all the tools we need to make a cute little turkey. So we're going to make this one today. But what about if we made some of the feathers into little journal boxes where you could give these to your family, and during Thanksgiving dinner, for example, you could ask them to write what they're thankful for. And then you can take all of these cute little feathers, tuck them back into, into the layout, and then again, it's going to be either a display piece or a piece that you can add into your scrapbook. So that's sort of the interactive piece. And I can envision a lot of you, cutting out these sort of feather shapes tonight, putting them on the Thanksgiving table tomorrow. And when you share with your family and friends tomorrow during Thanksgiving, you can ask them to write a little note on these pages, and then you can assemble your layout all together later. So this is just, my kind of sample, but I do have a couple of photos, that I'm going to put right in there from our Thanksgiving activities that day. And I will be getting my family to fill out those little feathers. And that will be our, memory of Thanksgiving 2022. So just a note that you can add your photos wherever you like. These are two 3¼ inch photos on a little 4x4 frame, but you can do whatever you like. Now let's talk about Turkey Lurkey himself there. I'm just going to move these photos out of the way. And, we've been talking about playing. So I just want to show you, when I'm thinking about a project, I just go and I grab a bunch of scraps and I just play around with it. So this was literally, scraps on, a scrap sheet. I've got my little notes here as to what size. I did a little playing around to see if I could make the feathers, sort of more three-dimensional. So I just played. And then I take that idea and I use the papers that I want to use in my final layout. So again, I always encourage you to just go and play around with some of your products to come up with some of these ideas. Now, I'll let you know that all of the measurements that I'm going to be sharing with you here in a minute will be in the description on both the Facebook group and on the YouTube channel. So all of the CCS, all the custom cutting system, blades and sizes and insides and outsides, all that stuff will be written down for you to refer back to. So don't worry too much about this, okay? Now this one is made with the Totally Tonal Fall, but I'm going to pull out some Golden Harvest papers, a little bit of cardstock, and then of course you could either use the 1, 2, 3s. I use the brown script stickers for my title, or you can pull out some of the titles here from the Golden Harvest stickers. If you've got It's Fall, Y'all, that would be a great one to make this with. The colors of his feathers would be so fun. So we've got a few different things here. Grateful for You. I noticed there was, blessings, thankful, love, happy place. So there's a lot of title stickers right there that you'd be able to use with this little layout. And of course, you know, some of these beautiful leaves from the embellishment pack would be lovely as well. All right, so I'm going to pull out just a couple of papers here. I think these ones would be nice for some of the feathers. And I want to talk about the lined paper. Now, again, with this one, I used Spargo, which is kind of the same tones as the inside of our albums. But there's also natural, which I'm going to be using here in a moment. And there's also white. So you can use any of these that you want. And when you're cutting the feathers out, the nice thing is that you can either use the lined side or you can flip it over and use the blank side. So if you've got little ones that, you know, they want to do a little drawing, they could do a little drawing here instead of writing. And if you've got extras that don't get used, again, you can just, you know, tuck those in and they become kind of a colored tonal sort of feather. So whatever one you choose to use, I really enjoy using our lined paper just because it's got so much versatility to it. Blank or lined, can't go wrong. All right, and then I've got some pumpkin, some cranberry, and some hot fudge cardstock. So those are all good. Now we're going to use a few different CCS here, custom cutting system patterns. We're going to be using a circle for our turkey's head. Let's get that out from behind the CM logo. So the little turkey head is actually going to be the inside of the largest circle. So we've got the largest circle inside with a blue blade. And then his body is the upside down heart, the outside of that one with a red blade. And then our feathers are also from the Gemstones patterns, the inside of the diamond with, let me just double check, a blue blade. So we're going to cut some of those. You can see that I already have a few pieces already cut out just to shorten our time. And then I'll tell you about the little face pieces here in a couple of minutes. So let me just move the face pieces off. And I do already have a few lined feathers, some red feathers, or they could be the flip side, which is that wood grain, and then some pumpkin colored feathers. And I've also got, I've got that natural paper if I need to cut any more out. And I've got the chocolate brown, the really deep, deep wood tones with the red feathers on the back. So I've got lots of products available depending on which way I want to go. So I'm going to use this beautiful background paper. I absolutely love all of the colors that are in here. And the designers have almost treated it like an ombre. It's got that sort of dark edges. And it almost looks like it could be kind of holographic, but it's just the way that they've chosen the colors. I've already cut my white cardstock down to 11 inches square, same as on here. And that will provide a nice little frame style layout. So first of all, I just want to go ahead and gut this because I want to use the back side of this paper for a few more leaves, or maybe I'll use that brown for the turkey body itself. And I've already done that on this layout as well. So what I'm going to do is create a 1.5 inch hollow frame. And to do that, we're going to place the edge of our paper at 1.5 inches. And then we're going to start our blade at 1.5. And we're going to stop our blade 1.5 inches up from the bottom edge. And I love doing this because I get the look of the frame, but then I can serve all of that paper in behind it. So you don't have to waste your paper in behind something that nobody's going to see. So what I like to do is just put my finger at the 1.5 inch mark, and then I just start my blade where the white line is. Just kind of line up that white line with my finger. So I've got it at 1.5 inches, start cutting at 1.5 inches, and I stop cutting at 10.5 inches. So really quick to do that. You don't need to do a lot of complicated measuring. Just find your 1.5, your 10.5, and just go ahead and cut. So let's just take a minute to do that. One more. And again, this is going to be covered up. So if you don't have a perfect square in the end, it's not a big deal. But I am always amazed at how good a job our trimmer does at getting those corners nice and even. So I'm going to use this side for my turkey body. Let's just adhere this one, this 11-inch sheet of white cardstock, 11-inch square I should say, to the center. And then we're ready to cut and arrange. So I'm just going to put the frame itself onto one of my 13 by 13 inch cutting mats. Get that nicely lined up. And then I can look at the little 1/2 inch marks all the way around and make sure my white cardstock base is nice and even. So that's always a really easy way to get your base done. And I love the look of a frame style base because we get all of those gorgeous colors coming through. All right, so let's go ahead and cut our turkey. So as I said, the inside of the largest circle with the blue blade. So I'm just going to get that into the pegs there. And I believe this is a 3-inch circle. So there's our little turkey head. And then the body is the outside of the small heart. I'm just going to flip it over because I like to cut that way, but we're going to turn the shape over when we add it to our layout. And that's with the red blade, sorry. So outside the small heart with the red blade. And we'll just get around. That's the only little part that sometimes trips me up is the little divot at the top of the heart. So just go slow. Keep one hand on your template or you'll rip it like I just did. Let's get it back in the track there and see if we can salvage that. There we go, I think. I've got a little bit of a rough edge there, so I'll just use my microtip scissors and trim that off. Good as new. And then we might still use some of this paper for some of the feathers. But let's put our little turkey together. So there's the heart. Just turn him around. And I'm just going to add a little dab of adhesive on the back of the head. So there's our little turkey. So let's just start kind of placing some of these feathers, just so we can get an idea of placement before we go ahead and, adhere anything down. So I'm just kind of creating an arc around him. And maybe we'll come in with the red ones. And then, of course, I'm going to be adding in all of my little journal box style feathers as well. So there's 4 people in my family, so I'm going to have to cut another one. You can overlap the edges. You don't have to keep everything, right in that center there. But that's kind of what our layout's going to look like. Let's go ahead and cut. We're going to cut one feather. I think that's all we'll need from the natural designer paper. So again, the feathers are the inside of the diamond shape with the blue blade. So get that in the peg. Oops. This is probably what's going to take you the longest for this layout, is cutting out all of your pieces. But it still is very easy, and it really doesn't, take too much time. When you know the sizes that you need to do, it comes along pretty quickly. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be my little turkey. So how many feathers is that? 1, 2, we've got 4 with the lines, and then we've got 7 more feathers in the colors. Okay, so again, if you have more than 4 people in your family, if you've got 10, you might have, some natural, some Spargo, some of the lighter colored tonal papers, and they can all write on top of those. Okay, so that's the basis of our lovely little turkey. And again, I had pulled out you know, this paper would be beautiful for the feathers because you've got all those gorgeous tones. And then on the back side, I noticed that this one had the lines on it. So, you know, if you don't have the lined paper, this is from, I think, the tonal pack. Let's see, I'm not 100% sure. Thought I had the little sheet. But yeah, something like this that would have some lines on it that people could write on, you could substitute that in for the lined paper. Okay, so let's talk about all of the little bits then that we'll need to finish off our turkey. Because right now it just kind of looks, you know, we're not sure what it is, to tell you the truth. So we've got a few different little pieces, and I'll tell you where they're all from. This is where that fantastic 3-piece mini punch set comes in. This is the piece by piece mini trio punch set. Sorry, just grabbing a drink of water there. And that's really key, especially with this little flower petal for the turkey's wattle and for his feet. So these are his feet down here, and that's his wattle. The legs are really just little scraps of cardstock here in the orange. And I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive, pop one of the feet onto it, and then that can just get tucked right underneath. It looks a little bit like a lame duck there. I just remember making these kinds of little turkeys and crafts, and it was just so much fun. Okay, so there's his feet. Let's get his wattle attached. I had to look up what it was called. I had to double check that I was calling it the right thing. And then his nose, or his little beak, is literally just a little triangle of orange. We're going to put that on last. Now his eyes are made from 2 circles, and these are cut with the on the inside of the smallest circle with the blue blade. And I think these become about an inch. No, not quite, about 3/4 of an inch. So we're just going to add in his white eyes. That always looks creepy because it looks like he's staring at you. And then the little black pupils are the large circle from this one of the piece by piece mini trio set. So it's a little heart, a little half smile, a little circle, and a bigger circle. So you can use your repositionable adhesive. I like to just kind of, sorry, I got an extra piece there. I just like to take a dab of tape runner adhesive and then fold over any extra. Now I've got it on my fingers. I'm just trying to get it off. And then we'll add our little pupils to the center there. And the eyes will be done. And then we can add, we'll make them a little cross-eyed because they always look cute that way. And then we can add our nose, just kind of overlapping the eyes and the wattle. Okay? So that's our turkey. And he is so cute. He's so fun. I just thought he was the funnest thing to make. And then, again, depending on where you space your feathers, you're going to have room for a few photos down here. Okay? So I hope you have a good time making that turkey. And if you're not quite ready, you know, if maybe you're away, maybe you're traveling, maybe with your family, you know, somewhere else away from home, maybe you're not going to be able to make this in time for Thanksgiving tomorrow. So I want to give you a little bit of a variation. So let's just say, let me get rid of turkey here. Let's just say you can't make it in time for Thanksgiving. You can take this same idea and use it for Christmas or for any other holiday, really. The idea being that whatever shape you're using to make your layout, you're going to cut some of those shapes out using the designer lined paper. So in this case, again, I've used Spargo, and I've got some Seasonal Sightings paper to make this wreath. So I'm going to show you how I made the holly leaves and how I just kind of connected it all together to make it look like a wreath. So let's go ahead, let's move this out of the way. And for the holly leaves, what we're going to need is, I've got some lined paper and some of the Seasonal Sightings Tone on Tone. We're going to use the inside of the largest oval with the red blade. So each one of these leaves starts as an oval inside the largest oval with the red blade. Okay, just go around that again. You know, I never have a problem when I'm doing it by myself, but of course, as soon as I go live, I have all kinds of problems. I'm sure you can relate. So now we've got this oval. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold it in half, and it doesn't need to be, you know, a perfect fold. You just kind of want to get the edges together. And we're going to trim up some of the side here, the curved side. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the circle punch as a bit of a chomper. And I'll show you what I mean. We're going to hold it on the fold, and we're going to insert the two rounded edges into the circle punch. We're going to try to line up one part of the circle punch with the point at the top. Okay, so we'll push the whole thing in so we can see it. So I hope you can see the top of the leaf there. So I'm just going to move it until it's touching one edge of the circle punch. And I'm going to basically punch out or chomp out kind of a little football shape. Okay, so you can see where this is going. So we've done one little chomp. We're going to do another little chomp at the bottom, circle chomp. I'm coining a new term here. And then we're going to kind of connect the chomps. Now, it does take a big chomp out of the center, so I'm just going to kind of put it on a bit of an angle. And you can see that that didn't work all the way down. So I'm just going to take my scissors now and kind of finish up that shape. And then when I open it, I've got the holly leaf shape. So that's what I've done for all of these, including the Spargo lined paper. Now in a couple of these, I've got a kind of a little slit in the center, and that was just trimmed out when I still had it folded, and that just gives a little bit of variation and a little bit of decoration to the holly leaf. Okay, now if you remember, let me grab it. Our holly punch kind of has that same look to it. So you can see that it looks like it has a little space down the center. Okay, so that's an easy way to make your little hollies, and you want to keep these little pieces that you chomp out because they become the little extra leaves that we have on the wreath. And the wreath is just created. Same basic idea that we had for our turkey layout with a frame base and an 11-inch square. And all I did was take the jumbo custom cutting circle pattern, and I traced the inside with pencil. And that's how I came up with the shape for the wreath. And then I just alternated and kind of moved my little hollies all the way around. I've got 4 spots here for journaling. And then I can add a little photo. I love the idea of this being used maybe for a title page. Maybe it's got a Christmas family portrait, something like that. I put the title on it first, but I actually had a few very nice family portraits that would have worked better in the landscape orientation. So you might just want to leave the focal photo out until you know what photo you want to use. But yeah, I think that's a great alternative to our turkey layout. You can still have your family write in some, things that they're grateful for at Christmas time. Maybe this is going to have a fun sort of Advent or Christmas countdown feel. Maybe there's going to be some activities written on it, and you can do some of the activities together as a family. Or maybe it's going to be a wish list. Maybe each of the kids or each of the family members gets to write a few things that they would like to do together as a family or receive as a Christmas gift from Santa. So lots and lots of different ways that you could approach something like this. But really the star here is the lined paper, because you can really, integrate that into your design, but provide a whole bunch of places to journal. So I love the idea of getting the family involved, having them include, their writing, or as I mentioned, if you've got little kids, having including their drawing, all of those things would be really, really fun. So I'll bring back the turkey here. We'll get those photos back on here. What did I do with them? There's the turkey we made today. There's my previous turkey. And here's a couple of my little photos that I plan on adding. Okay? So again, a couple of embellishments to finish it off. And your layout's complete. You can display this over the holidays and then pop it into your album afterwards. But it's going to be a really special layout because you've got some of those family memories that your family and friends actually did themselves. So I love that idea, and I hope you do too. I'm really excited to see if some of you create a layout based on this idea, and I know that you're going to come up with a whole bunch of other ideas with this same sort of theme. So again, maybe it's going to be a different holiday, or maybe you're going to cut different shapes. Ornaments would be beautiful, cutting an ornament shape and having everybody write in the ornament, or, different kinds of punched shapes. So there's lots and lots of ways to integrate this idea using that lined paper. But I think it's a real sleeper. We don't often think about it except to make, a journal card. So really think about how you could integrate it into your layout. Make it interactive for your family, and it's going to be a really fun memory keeping project that you can all do together. Okay, so I can't wait to see what you come up with. Now, next week, we're going to be continuing on with our holiday preparations. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving and rest up, because I know you're getting ready for the holidays starting now. Decorating, cards, wrapping, shopping, all of those things are still coming up. So next week, I'm actually going to be kind of making some new projects with some old favorites. So we're going to be relying on some good old-fashioned basics. We're going to use some of the things that I was mentioning today, like the piece-by-piece mini trio punch set. That is so versatile. We're going to use the bevel tag punch. I love the tag punch. We're going to pull out the holly. We're going to do something fun with the little spring leaf punch. And you're going to want to pull out whatever designer papers that you want. So again, if you're going to be working on Christmas, maybe you're going to use Joy to the World from last year. In fact, maybe that's what I'll use. Because not everybody has seasonal sightings. Maybe they're finishing up using Joy to the World from last year. So maybe that's what I'll use. I'll use Joy to the World and some of those punches that I mentioned. And we'll focus on making some fun holiday projects next week. It might be kind of my top 5 holiday projects, something like that. And then the 3 weeks after that, we're going to continue our focus on the holidays. I'm going to be completing my pages in my December Days album. Remember back at the end of October, we made an 8x8 album using the Fast Album Formula handout. I'll try to remember to link that so that you can get a head start on your album. And then each week in December leading up to Christmas, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how to finish off your pages really quickly and easily so that your holiday memory book will be done, before the end of the month. And that's always something that's a good thing. Be involved and be engaged with the holidays by actually documenting it while you're living it. And I know for a lot of us, it feels like that's not accomplished. We can't accomplish it because of time. But I promise you, if once you have your Fast Album formula done and your layout base or your base page layouts done, your album is going to be so easy to put together throughout December, even though I know that's the busiest month of the year. So it's going to be lots of fun. So we've got lots and lots of holiday stuff coming up. Join me next week to make my top 5 holiday projects, and then we'll continue into December completing our holiday album. Okay? So, oh, good. I'm glad. I see a lot of people saying that they're going to take this idea and run with it either for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. So, I'm very excited to see what you're going to be doing. Looking forward to making the turkey and the wreath. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all of the wishes of Thanksgiving. But again, my family and I live in Canada, so we had our Thanksgiving back in October. It's my turn to wish you the happiest of Thanksgiving, whether you're celebrating it with family, friends, with your pets, your fur babies, or maybe you're celebrating it online with people who are far away from you. So I hope you enjoy, if you are in the US or if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. For the rest of us, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to being with you again next Wednesday. All right? So we'll see you then. Bye for now, everybody.